Hello everyone, Miss Mayorga. In today's video, we're going to be going over lesson 16, mouse input. So make sure you're logged into Code Studio or code.org and you're ready to get started. Essential question for this lesson is, what are more ways that the computer can react to user input? Learning objectives are: use an if-else statement to control the flow of a program, respond to a variety of types of user input. So last lesson, or the lesson before this, we learned about keyboard input, right? Pressing the arrow keys, the space bar, etc. So we're going to learn about mouse input in this lesson. For this lesson, we'll complete bubbles 1 through 9. For bubble 8, you'll complete activity A, if you're in my class. Activity B is optional, and bubble 10 is an optional challenge. I will not be grading any bubble. However, what you learn in this class will be assessed in future lessons. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Bubble number 2. So go ahead and we're going to take a look at this code and make a prediction about what's going on here. Let's take a look, especially the if-else block. If key down space, balloon.scale gets balloon.scale plus 0.02, else balloon.scale gets balloon.scale minus 0.01. I think I might have changed this. Let me make sure. Okay, no, that's the same thing. Okay, great. So here, based on the code, what do you think is going to happen? Go ahead and pause the video, make your prediction, and then come back. All right, welcome back. So let's go ahead and check out what is going on. I'm gonna hit the run button, holding the space bar, letting go. Actually, let me go ahead and pull up my keyboard here. All right. Run, space bar, let go, space bar, let go. All right, so what is happening? When the space bar is pressed down, the scale is increasing by 0.02, so the balloon is getting bigger. Otherwise, when it's not pressed down, the scale is decreasing by 0.01, it's getting smaller. All right, and that's how the if-else statement works. If the condition is true, it responds in one way. Otherwise, else, it responds in a different way. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the next bubble. Go ahead and click finish. Level 3 is a video, so go ahead and pause this video, go watch that video like usual, and then come back. Okay, continuing on to bubble 4, or level 4. Reverse the gears. These gears already spin one direction when you press the space bar. Now you'll want them to spin the other direction when the space bar isn't pressed. Do this. Make the gears spin the opposite way when the space bar is not being pressed. Okay. So here we have the code. If key down space, if the space bar is pressed, they will rotate in one direction. Pressing the space bar, let me go ahead and pull up my keyboard viewer. Press the space bar, let go. Press the space bar, let go. And what we want to happen is that when we let go of the space bar, the gear should rotate the opposite direction. So how do we do that? We need to extend our if block and make it into an if-else statement. To do that, you go to the bottom of the if block that's already in your code, click on the little plus symbol, and then you'll see else. So if the space is down, rotate in this direction. Otherwise, else rotate in the opposite direction. So how do we make our gears rotate in the opposite direction? Hopefully you said something about changing the minuses to plus and the pluses to minuses. We just need to use the same blocks, but all we need to change are the symbols right here, the math operators. So for blue gear, that should become plus so that it goes the opposite direction. And then for green and red, those should become minus, so it goes in the opposite direction. So let's find those blocks. Blue gear.rotation. I'm going to go ahead and grab 3 rotation blocks all at once. 1, 2, 3. Don't forget to change the names here. Blue gear, green gear, capital G for gear, red gear. For the blue gear, let's go to our math drawer. Blue gear right now, if the space bar is pressed, it's going counterclockwise, minus. So we want to go clockwise, which is going to be plus. dropping in. For the green and red gear, right now, when the spacebar is pressed, it goes clockwise because of the plus. To go opposite, we would need minus. So go ahead and drop those subtraction operators. There we go. And now we need our rotation block again, sprite.rotation. 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. And just the values, 1 plus 1, minus 1, minus 1. So now what should happen is that when, oh, I forgot to change the name. Maybe you caught that. I forgot to change. I was like, why do I still have warning signs? It's because I forgot to change the label here. So this should be blue gear, green gear, red gear. All right. So now when I run the program, you're going to see that the gears are rotating already. But when I press the space bar, they should rotate the other direction. There you go. I'm going to let go. Right now, the top half of the if statement is true. If key down, right, they're rotating in this direction. And otherwise, when I let go, they rotate the opposite direction. Okay, go ahead and click finish. Continuing on. Let me move my keyboard. There we go. Okay, bubble 5 or level 5. Here's the same program but with one small difference. Read the program carefully, especially line 13, to figure out how to control the gears. Run the program and test whether you were correct. Make the gears spin the opposite way when there is no user input. Okay, so here we have if mouse down. So in the previous one we had if key down space. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because my room is right by the window, as you can see, and my apartment is right over the street, so I can see all the cars going by and like people and hear sounds, and I'm just hearing a lot of sounds outside and I got distracted for a second. Anywho, moving back here. In the previous bubble, they used if key down space. In this one, they're using if mouse down. So how do we control the gears here? How do we control the gears? How do we make the gears move? We have to press the mouse. So when you press your mouse, they turn. When you let go, they stop. Pressing, let go. And what we want to happen is that when the mouse is not pressed, the gears should rotate the opposite way. So it's pretty much the exact same thing we did on bubble 4. The only difference is that instead of key down space, they used mouse down space. So we just need to add the same blocks again. Go ahead and click on that plus symbol to make it an else statement. We need the 3 rotations. So again, just like the last bubble. Rotation, rotation, rotation. Don't forget to change the names. Blue gear, capital G. Green gear, red gear. And again, to change the direction of the rotation, we need to use the opposite math operator. So minus, the opposite of that is plus. There you go. And then for green and red, those are plus. The opposite of that is minus. And we need some rotation blocks in the first section of the operator. So let's go ahead and grab those sprite.rotation blocks. 1, 2, and 3. Don't forget to change the names. I almost forgot last time. Blue gear, green gear, red gear. And add your values. +1. -1, -1. So literally the same exact blocks that we added in bubble 4. The only difference is how we control the gears. Run the program. They're going to be rotating on their own, but when you click on the screen, they should rotate the opposite direction. Clicking on the screen, mouse down. Otherwise, else, rotate the other direction. All right, go ahead and click finish. Continuing on to bubble 6. Mouse clicks. Here's a program that drops a balloon down the screen. Make the balloon go up and down according to whether the user is pressing the mouse. Add code that checks whether the mouse is being pressed. Move the balloon up if the mouse is down. Otherwise, move the balloon down. All right, so we need to add an if-else statement. If else, go into your control drawer, the blue blocks, if else. I'm going to add it underneath line 9. And we need to check, add code that checks whether the mouse is being pressed. So our condition is mouse down. So go into your world, mouse down, right? We're checking if the mouse is down. It might say left button because for some of you, if you have a trackpad, the left button is your mouse. So you can just ignore that. But if mouse down, we want the balloon to move upwards. Otherwise, move the balloon down. All right, so we need to add code that's going to make the balloon move up. What code do we need to add? And in case you forget, you can look in the notebook on page 25, 26, 27. Right, to move upwards, we need our sprite.y block and we need the subtraction operator. So let's go ahead and grab the sprite.y. We need to move our balloon, that's the name of our sprite. And since we're moving up, we need to subtract, right? Because as we move up, if you look at the coordinates down here, look at the y coordinate. As you move up, the y coordinate is decreasing. So in order to decrease, we need to subtract. Right, balloon.y minus, I'm going to go with -1. So when the mouse is down, move the balloon up. Otherwise, move the balloon down. Luckily, that line of code is already there for us. The program was already moving the balloon down, and that's this line of code right here. This block, we're just going to move it into our else statement, our else section. Balloon.y gets balloon.y plus 1. That's going to increase the y coordinate, which makes it go down. All right, let's go ahead and try it. So our balloon should, before I click my mouse, it should start going downwards. But when I click on my screen, it should go up. And then I let go and it starts to go down. And then I click and it goes up. And we did it. If else. If the mouse is down, go up. Otherwise, else, go down. Go ahead and click finish. Continue. Bubble 7. I'm going to have to do a part 2 to this video. Okay. World.mousex. World.mousex. This program uses an if block to shake the blender when the mouse is on the left side of the screen, as you can see here. Do this. Run the program to see how it works. Add an else to make the mixer shake when the mouse is on the other side of the screen. Okay, so right now we have if the world mouse.x is less than 200. So if the x position of our mouse is less than 200, if you look down here at the x coordinates, you can see the x coordinates of our mouse. So 200 is right about here. So if the mouse is less than 200, anything over here, it's going to shake the blender. But we want to add is the else. Otherwise, right, when the mouse is on this side, on the right side, we want the mixer to shake, okay? So we just need to go into the if statement. We need to extend that to make it an else. If world mouse x is less than 200, shake the blender. Otherwise, shake the mixer. So how do we make the mixer shake like the blender? Right, we need to use, hopefully you said something about we need to use x and y and random number. Pretty much the same blocks, we just might have to change these numbers here. So go ahead and grab the x and y, sprite.x, sprite.y, sprite.x, sprite.y. And the variable that we're changing, or the sprite that we're changing, is the mixer. So we need to change the name to mixer. And as you can see, they made the blender shake up and down by using the random number block. So let's go ahead and drop a random number block here. And I think my face is covering the code a little bit. Let me zoom out. There you go. And I'm actually going to pause the video here because I'm about to run out of time. So we will continue Bubble 7 in part 2 of the video. So up until now, just add the blocks that I've added on my screen. See you in part 2.